Hello, welcome to Vinyl Verdict. This
Hi.
week we're talking about our favorite movie and TV show soundtracks. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And this is a show where, this is a show called They're Just Movies.
Wait, what?
Music.
No, what?
Vinyl Verdict. They're just movies.
They're
movie
just
music.
records.
They're
about
just
music.
records.
They're just records.
About movies.
An official podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about some of our favorite movie and TV soundtracks that we own, why they're special to us. And this is our first topic episode, so bear with us if it's a little weird, but
Sure.
we'll probably get it down.
No,
I'm
probably not.
gonna kick us off on some of the ones that I own before we talk about the star record that I've chosen to actually talk about this week. I've brought a few with me for cool ones. So I have in front of me the Ren and Stimpy You Idiot vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
This was one of the most expensive vinyls I bought until a few weeks ago for, I'm sure, a future episode where I got ones that were even more.
Oh, Power Toastman's on the back.
Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
this is a cool record that has the standard kind of like intro card art on the front with Ren and Stimpy bursting out of the wall. But what makes it a star record, other than the fact that it has a included lyric sheet that's also very nice,
Hell yeah.
is that it is a log-themed record for
Oh
the
my
log
God.
toy kind of skit that they have.
Is it big, heavy, and wood?
It is big and heavy. This is
Wow.
definitely big and heavy. It is spotted brown with like black
Damn,
and
that's
white.
down with the thickness.
It is down with the thickness with art of Ren and Stimpy on the label. Limited edition I got from a shop that I cannot remember.
Oh,
But
how many copies?
I think there's like 1,500.
That's not bad, yeah.
And then they had different ones as well, but I went for the log because that's
You got
actually
it.
on theme. They had like goo ones, which would be very
Oh, like
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon,
Sure.
yeah.
But I wanted the log theme one, and I like it a lot. It sounds great, and like we listened to it a bit before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of iconic music from Ren and Stimpy, so I like this one a lot. But we're not talking too much about this one. I also brought with me
What a tease.
a VeggieTales one that I have
Oh, my
Hell
God, you
yeah.
mentioned this.
because it is a limited edition. I have number 740 of 1,200
Jeez.
for the VeggieTales vinyl record.
Hell yeah.
Because my sister used to own a Christian bookstore, and for some reason she
What?
had this. So I was like,
Okay.
growing up, I mean, when I wasn't religious, but like every kid watched VeggieTales. And this is just banger after banger.
You know, there's never ever been a show like VeggieTales.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's never,
They
ever,
say
ever,
it-
ever been a show like
They talk
VeggieTales.
about it in the song.
So there's
Thanks,
a lot of bangers on
VeggieTales.
this, a lot of fun. Some other ones I own would be, so I spend a lot of money on the Shrek soundtrack. Only it's the Shrek score.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
I
they
don't want the score.
There's no
I want
Smash
the
Mouth?
licensed soundtrack. No Smash Mouth. A lot of orchestral music
Yeah.
that is
It's in the
good,
movie,
but
yeah.
it is not what I want. As well as West Side Story, which I've never watched. Blues Brothers, which I am named after. Winnie
Oh,
the Pooh,
really?
The Graduate.
Oh, cool.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
The movie.
The movie. E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Oh,
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I have that one too.
Star Wars. So I have a lot. I was
Yeah,
actually
you
surprised when I was
have a-
going through.
You have a lot more than I expected.
I think it's just because those end up in lots.
They do.
Like people get rid of stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are bangers.
Yeah.
But for the absolute banger that I've chosen to talk about, this Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Nice.
So it's
that movie.
really close
Soundtrack's
between Ren
great.
and Stimpy.
You hate the movie?
But
That fucking movie.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. First of all, bad take.
It's okay. I'm okay with that.
It is a good movie.
The movie's like,
The problem is Scott's such an asshole.
yeah.
But that's the point.
I
You're
know,
not
I
supposed to
know,
like
I
Scott.
know, I know. But
And I know, even if it's a point, you cannot like it, and he can still be an asshole. But
Yeah.
like, it is a good movie.
I like
Plouffe,
the
do you
movie.
like the movie?
Yeah, it's fun. It's not like my favorite movie of all time. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's like
You
amazing.
have a tattoo of Scott. What are you talking
No,
about?
I don't.
Yeah, it's on your thigh. I can
You
see
gotta
it
stop
right now.
making lies. People can't see me.
Well, I'm not lying. There's the Joker posters.
Oh my god. It's,
You do love American Psycho,
yeah.
and
you
you
know
do
what?
have a Scott Pilgrim
I got
tattoo.
Huey Lewis in the news.
yeah. All
He's
over
even
the
dating a
place.
girl named Ramona.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a soundtrack to what could be argued as the best video game movie of all time,
It's better than
It's
Ready
just-
Player One. I'll give it that.
It's a
Yep.
stretch, but oh my god, yes, is it ever better than?
or at
Ready
least
It's not as
Player
good as
One?
War Games.
themed video
The
game.
Last
Sure.
Starfighter.
Yeah.
Not as good as that.
Hey, I have such a soft spot for the Last Starfighter,
Such a good
and like
movie.
nobody.
You know,
talks
if I was
about it.
50, I might like those movies as well. But I am
Eat a dick.
a millennial, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World balances that video game feel
Yeah.
to actual video game themes and everything like that. Even from the P bar as he's going to the bathroom, and things that just show up in that world as physical objects.
Yeah.
Love it.
I like that it's set in Toronto. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's also a very good comic book or graphic novel. I
Yeah.
own all of them. and
Well, a
they're great.
series, yeah.
Yeah. There's 8. Oh God, don't quote me. But there's a lot. And Brian Lee O'Malley is from Toronto.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's
Makes
themed
sense.
on that. And the soundtrack is as well.
There's a bunch of Canadian bands on it.
There is a bunch because it's like
Metrics
stuff
on
that
it.
they
Yeah.
listen to, or that Edgar Wright listened to.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, one of the songs is Ramona. I heard Ramona sing, which just happened to be a song that Edgar Wright loved when he was infatuated with a girl. And then, he gets to direct this movie where the main love interest is a girl named Ramona.
Wait, that's that Frank Black song, right?
It is by Frank Black.
Yeah. Frank
I'm
Black's
looking at the
amazing.
vinyl if you're wondering. But it is something that they took as seriously as the movie. It took 2 years to finish the soundtrack for the movie
I believe
because they wanted to make sure everything
Wow.
was perfect.
So all the movie music, so like the music played by the movie bands in it is
By Beck.
garbage.
No, it's by Beck.
Oh no, like so like can I see the record
Yeah.
for a sec? Thank you. We Are Sex Bomb.
Absolute banger.
I love how it starts. You hate that song?
Yeah.
I
We
love,
Sex Bomb.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
that's my line in here. Is like,
It
I
is
love how it starts with that.
iconic.
Yeah.
All the Crash
Garbage
the Boy
Truck.
stuff sucks.
What? This song is called "I'm So
At
Sad,
long
So
last,
Very, Very Sad."
It's not
So
my record that's
sad.
being hated.
This one is not okay. So for these
No, I
records,
don't
they're
hate
not
that. I don't
officially
hate
ranked.
this. Like,
I know.
These
I'm
records
kidding.
are not officially ranked, so it does not matter if he doesn't like it. It's not going to be in the record for all time.
Yeah, I still lose.
I do
Garbage
like.
Truck is good.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you Garbage Truck. That's fine. Teenage Dream is a banger. T-Rex is a great band.
Not an original band song, but it is a good
No,
song.
Yeah, Teenage Dream is just a great song. I heard Ramona sing. Is great because I love Frank Black. Frank Black is the singer from the Pixies.
We will share more about our thoughts on individual songs after we give maybe a more general thoughts
Sure.
here. But so all the music by the movies bands are written by Beck, legendary.
Makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
live show, but very, very legendary artist. And all of the movies bands are also based on real bands. So Sex Bomb is based on classic Beck. Crash and the Boys is based on Broken Social Scene.
Okay, sure.
Clash of Demon Head is based on Metric, which they ended up
Yeah, Metric's on this.
is
Metric is on
actually
the
one of the
soundtrack,
songs on
yeah.
this. And the actors actually played the instruments and sung. So Michael Cera knew bass beforehand, which is perfect because Scott Pilgrim plays bass.
Yeah.
And everyone else sung and learned their instruments for the movie.
I wonder
And,
if that helped him get the role.
right?
Honestly, it might have. Yeah.
So that definitely was convenient at the very
And
least.
he's from the neighborhood where the movie takes place.
Yes,
Oh,
I
no
think
way.
everybody is Canadian.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Except for the lead guitar player in the movie. He is not, but the drummer is, and Brie Larson is.
Yeah,
Don't
Michael
quote me,
Cera's
for
from
sure.
like the Toronto area. I think he's from like Oakville or something like that.
Wait, that's Brie Larson playing Ramona?
Yeah.
No.
No, Brie
Who does
Larson's
Brie
in the
Larson?
movie though. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
what does she
the
do?
ex-girlfriend who's the head of Clash of Demon Head. That'd be Mary
right.
Elizabeth Winstead is Ramona.
Right.
Who,
yeah.
I had a big crush on Brie Larson and Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
They are perfect.
Okay.
I don't know when this movie came out, 2010?
2010 or 11.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, I was in grade 10, becoming a teenager,
Sure.
becoming a man, really. And this
Wow.
movie came out, and I was like,
Pivotal.
man, this is great. Do not base your morals on Scott Pilgrim. Luckily enough, I did not. But my music taste was definitely shaped by this.
I
with
remember coming
some
out and
iconic
seeing this
songs.
movie in theaters, and I remember leaving the theater, and I said to my buddy that I didn't really enjoy the movie, and he was just like, "Why? It was the greatest movie ever made. It's the Spinal Tap of our generation."
no, it's not the
So that's
Spinal
actually what
Tap.
they wanted to, or why they put so much focus in the soundtrack is because of Spinal Tap. They're like,
Yeah.
is this at least anywhere close to Spinal Tap? Because they didn't want to make something that they knew that another movie was already going to be way, way better. Mm-hmm. So they put that kind of focus in, like, does this hold a candle to at the very least? Which some people say no,
The movie is nowhere near as funny as This Is Spinal Tap.
depending on your age, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
I
but
agree with you, Jamie. It's
yeah.
okay.
They had how many drummers did they lose during the filming of the movie?
God, I don't know.
It's like 4 drummers die in
I've never
This Is
seen it.
Spinal Tap. It's amazing.
I haven't seen This Is Spinal Tap in like 15
they,
years.
They said that the one drummer died in a bizarre gardening accident.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is great.
But that was also like a mockumentary, and
Yeah,
like
it's a
it's a
Christopher Guest
totally
movie, yeah,
it's a
or-
totally different
yeah.
tone and everything.
Mm.
I like both movies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, for people my age the young millennials.
Sure.
There's no movie like it.
As an elder millennial, I didn't enjoy it.
Because like, what other movie would there be like this that came out in the last?
Yeah,
Or, like, around that time at the very
and
least.
editing wise and stuff, it was pretty unique
It
with
was
the comic
unique,
book
yeah.
stuff.
Like across the universe, but extremely different.
Oh, sure.
Totally different. Yeah.
But like a music-based movie, like that's the only thing that's similar.
Yeah.
So it would have been very unique.
What was that movie
It's-
that came out a couple of years ago where the Beatles didn't exist and the guy
Yesterday. Very good
Yesterday,
movie.
yeah.
Actually, a very good movie.
I don't really. It's funny. I don't really consider this movie a music-based movie, though.
It's a movie that has a music-based plot,
Which
and
it's like
music in
Baby
it.
Driver.
Yeah,
Sure.
Which is another Edgar Wright movie
Sure.
where music is a very integral part of the
Yeah.
movie, but it's not a music movie.
No.
Edgar Wright's music documentary, the one I told you about, that's really good. It's on Netflix now.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out.
Oh yeah, I've heard that is very good.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. Sorry,
It's
viewers,
called the
listeners.
Sparks Brothers.
That's right.
The listening. The
Um,
happening.
So yeah, it's a very eclectic. Like I got
Oh,
this
The Happening,
record.
That's a movie.
I got this record while actually the three of us were record shopping at a local
Really?
record
Did
place.
you buy that while we were out?
Yeah,
Oh, I know you bought the Shrek soundtrack while we were out.
this is Score. Yeah.
Yeah, the score. Yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta get it right.
And this was another one that I was like, ooh, it's really expensive. Like I think this was $40.
Yeah.
Canadian, though, right?
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
like
I don't know what
30.
the conversion is. Listeners, you know we're Canadian.
That
That's too bad.
was the repressing because there was a repressing for the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, it's
so-
blue.
Yeah.
And this one's red. Not the record itself. Is it? No, it is. Sorry, I haven't listened to it in a long time. Let's take a look at the actual thing.
It's hot pink, isn't it?
Sure is.
Yeah, we're not listening to all the records like
Oh,
we
yeah.
normally do.
No, we're not listening to them all because we have so much to
yeah.
go through.
Yeah.
But we listen to them all in our
It's a
free
good-looking
time.
record.
Oh, it's a little
The label is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a little transparent or is it just super
yeah.
shiny?
It's a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah, it's a little. Yeah, okay.
It's a little
Cool.
I see.
broccoli. It's
I
a
like
little-
that.
So yeah, it's a super nice looking album. The blue one's definitely very cool, and again, it has the score and some other songs on it, whereas this one is just the soundtrack.
Just the soundtrack, yeah.
But the downside of that is, wow, the order is crazy and it's hard to flow. The songs are good.
Yeah.
There's no flow really. The first songs actually I don't really like. The first side is okay. But I find like by song 5 when Crash and the Boys come on is when I like it. Because I want to listen to We Are Sex Bob-omb.
Yeah.
I don't care about Scott Pilgrim. I heard Ramona sing By Her Side or Oh Katrina.
Really?
And then that kind of picks up.
To me, I heard Ramona sing is like one of the. Well, maybe it's because I like Frank Black, but Frank Black's best song, by the way, is called "Kicked in the Taco."
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
Jesus Christ.
So
does-
yeah, it's a little up and down.
It feels like a collection or like a best hits kind of album, but it's not even a best hits because it's so many like different bands.
Yeah.
Greatest hits, best of.
Yeah, it's like
I got a BTO album that's called the Best of BTO, and it's brackets so far, but they never put another one out. So it's the
amazing.
only best of.
They better come back. But yeah, it's a little up and down, but you get a total variance of music. But before we go into some of the songs, let's give it one last listen.
Okay.
no, we're not listening to them. We have too many records today.
Well, they get to listen.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Oh, did they get to listen?
They get to listen.
Oh, the treats. The treats.
So, I mean, I've listened to it.
Yeah.
You know what, listener? You and I together, we're gonna listen to it right now.
Ooh.
We are Sex Bob-omb! 1, 2, 3, 4!
I'll take you for a ride on a garbage truck. Oh no.
Send you my love on the wire, lift you up every time, everyone.
So that was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I hope you enjoyed it more than these guys did. I mean, again, we didn't listen, but
I liked the
listened to
album.
it.
I don't hate the album. I'm
It's
just saying I don't like.
Jamie
the,
didn't like the movie.
Yeah, I don't like the movie,
Yeah.
and I don't think some of the original music.
He
is
doesn't
that
like
great.
We Are Sex Bob-omb. So
Oh yeah, that's
immediately
crazy.
I'm like,
That's crazy. Yeah,
guys,
no,
fuck
that
Sex
was
Bob-omb.
that's such a great start, especially with the 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's great, and then it goes into that really
so
like
good.
grungy jam and shit. Yeah.
So some of the songs that I enjoyed, We Are Sex Bob-omb, being one of them, because it's just iconic. Again, the great fuzzy rock. I can picture the intro of the movie, like the long hallway draw back as the band plays. I'm just like, this is iconic.
Yeah.
The second song is Scott Pilgrim, which was actually the song that inspired the comic writer Brian Lee O'Malley to name his his character. Jesus Christ. The second song is Scott
Jesus
Pilgrim.
Christ, man.
That is the song that inspired the comic writer Brian Lee O'Malley to name his character Scott Pilgrim.
I didn't
It's
know
okay.
that.
Yeah, he just liked the band. He was like,
Yeah.
Edgar, you're putting this in the movie.
Well,
Because like it's the song that inspired. It's by Plumtree, which is like some random small band.
yes, I'm
Yeah.
been, yeah.
That's
there's
cool.
I think there's a couple of Plumtree songs in the movie for that reason. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Then I heard Ramona saying is just a coincidence. Edgar
Sure.
Wright liked the song. It happened to match up with the name, which you talked about, which I think is kind of fun. But I actually really liked the band songs written by Beck.
Yeah.
None of them, they're all very unique, and I could see the stylings from the band and everything like that. I like Garbage Truck a lot. I think it's my favorite one of the kind of in movie band songs, and I play it on guitar just because it's like a fun trot. It's like da 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 da.
That one or the first one
It's
is
like
probably
fun,
my favorite on the whole album.
right. It
Yeah.
is. It's a good one.
I like this little known song by a band called the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones are on here too.
Under
yeah.
My Thumb.
That's it. First,
Yeah.
again, I've probably heard Rolling Stones, but I don't. Not
Yeah.
on purpose.
Maybe I'll pick
this
a
song is
Stone
awesome.
song one day. Yeah.
Under My Thumb is great.
Yeah, you could pick a Stones album.
Oh, Beast of Burden's the only
that's
other one.
early Stones. Yeah.
Beast of Burden's the only other song that I can like name by the Rolling Stones. Under My Thumb is great though.
Yeah.
Didn't they do the Painted Black?
Yeah.
Isn't that Rolling Stones?
Oh yeah.
Same album.
I don't like that
I think.
song, but
Is
I
it
know
nice?
it is.
Yeah.
But I do like Crash and the Boys. I'm so sad, so very very sad. And then We Hate You, Please Die. I think both are unironically very good. The So Sad is obviously just funny, but I like it because it's just so sad, and the song is over. But it's again,
Yeah, it's perfect.
just iconic. But my favorite fact and favorite song is Black Sheep, which is by Metric.
Oh yeah.
Was not written for this movie,
No.
but released with the movie.
Oh, I
so
didn't
they
know that.
got this song that they already had written and made and put it in Scott Pilgrim and released it with it. My only gripe with this album, other than maybe the weird order, is it's not the Brie Larson version. So in the movie, Brie Larson sings the song because she's the main singer
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
band. This on the album is the Metric version, which is still good. I just prefer Brie Larson's like higher pitched voice with it.
Sure.
I feel like it really mends or kind of melds together well. And that's like my only
So
sad part.
Black Sheep tracked on Toronto area radio. I remember hearing it a number of times. There was a radio station back home called Indie 88 that played like indie-esque music from like maybe smaller artists. And then there was 102.1 that played like modern rock or whatever. It used to be a new wave station actually, but
A Space Wave station.
no, it wasn't Space Wave.
Space
They
Wave.
weren't that cool. They weren't that cool. But anyway, Black Sheep I remember hearing on the radio, but it was always the Metric version. I don't know. Metric's fine. I like Metric.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah,
good
they're
Canadian
okay.
band.
Yeah.
Emily Haynes is pretty
Brooklyn
prolific.
Social Scene.
Yeah.
Great Canadian band too.
So it's super cool that they, like, she is such a, like, she's in so many Canadian bands that are pretty iconic.
Yeah.
And yeah, Black Sheep is really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Like Help I'm Alive. That's a good Metric song.
and then it's followed up by Threshold, which is another kind of like iconic, fuzzy Sex Bob-omb song. I like it a lot, which is funny because my least favorite song on this album is the last song, which is the 8-bit version.
Of Threshold.
I hate it. It is so
Really?
hard to listen to. Like, chiptune kind
You
of
don't-
music is fun,
Okay.
but it's like
Is it though?
so sharp.
I like chiptune. I have a Dub Mood album.
Do you remember the Threshold 8-bit at the end of this?
No, I don't. But like,
It is not nice.
no?
To me, at least. I don't know. I couldn't stand it, which is weird because I really like Threshold.
okay.
And then I get to the last song and I'm just like, get it off. I get up to turn off the record when that comes on because it's just like, no.
Maybe
That's
that's
a good
why
amount
it's
of
too
music
different.
on a record though. Like, so that's
We were talking about that.
19 tracks. That's a lot to cram onto it. Well, okay. Having said that, I'm so sad, so very sad is like 8 seconds.
It's
long.
still an hour and 22 minutes on one record.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. So the fidelity of that.
How do they
album,
fit it all, Jamie?
Very small rings,
Oh,
smaller grooves. Yeah, but
Plouffe
it's
said
on-
it's mathematically impossible.
So you
yeah, because
Yeah.
most LPs are like 20 minutes aside or like 25 minutes aside.
that was because recording technology was a lot different back in the day.
Oh,
so like for
interesting.
example, and don't please don't quote me on this, but
It's
like
an official JP quote.
right? But they couldn't get the machining as precise
Oh.
because they were doing it by hand.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
sort of like, remember when we had the Bridgeport machine in the shop before we got the CNC?
Yeah.
So the CNC can let you do it down to like microns, right?
Yeah.
But before computer aided stuff, like it was just like, as close as you could get it kind of
Right.
thing. And I think that's how they cut records now. It's the computer cuts the record.
It's computer aided.
It's computer aided.
Hell yeah.
So they can cram a lot more on more precisely. Also, the run out on this album is like this big.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you look? Yeah.
This big, he held his fingers very close together.
Very close together. Yeah, it's like an eighth of an inch.
Yeah.
It's barely a run out. But also because this album is 180 grain vinyl, the grooves can be deeper, but narrower. But they already had a technology for that. It's called a micro groove record. But they usually do
That
that
sounds
for
cool.
like symphonies and stuff like that, where it would be disjointed if they
Maybe
had
the
to.
Conan one.
I was just thinking that. I wonder if, we'll get
No
to it in a
spoilers.
bit.
Yeah, micro groove recording, has been around for many years. Like
I didn't know
have
about that.
Albums from the 60s, but you need a special needle to play it back. Otherwise, it tries to pop out.
Oh, okay. It's probably not
That's
them.
actually really interesting. I also had no idea.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it. But yeah, so it's really long, an hour and 22 minutes on one single LP. The only other song I kind of think about or like have anything special to say about is Ramona. I prefer the acoustic version because it just suits the theme of the movie, with it just being somebody who thinks they're in love with somebody and just puts together a song because they're a musician. But it came along because Edgar Wright challenged Beck to write a song that just has the words Ramona, oh my, Ramona.
Wow.
And so that's the lyrics.
Good
and
job, Beck.
That song is just a nice song that I could totally believe somebody who's just like trying to show what's inside of them with whatever they can, which is just very basic. And then it follows up with the full like symphonic version with a whole band and like beautiful welling music, which is just the more evolved version. And if you want to get thematic, maybe as things evolve and grow, it goes from just primitive childlike love to something that's more full. But I doubt that was on purpose. But I do prefer just the raw Beck with his guitar singing about a lady kind of thing. It's just so romantic.
Nice.
Jeez,
So romantic.
I wish Plouffe would write about me like that.
I love the cheese.
But otherwise, you guys have any thoughts about any of the songs on the album?
Yeah, Teenage Dream's a banger. Holy
Confirmed.
shit, that song's so good.
Confirmed.
I've basically said it already. I love the opening with Sex Bomb, and I love Dump Truck or Garbage Truck. I can never remember.
Garbage Truck, yeah.
I have a T-Rex album. Maybe I'll do that.
Oh
one
yeah,
day.
that'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, T-Rex is like the quintessential glam rock band.
I had never heard of them before.
Yeah, they're huge. Well, they were huge,
Whoa.
and then
What about Cinderella?
Mark,
Wahlberg.
Marky Mark and the Funky
the
Bunch.
Funky Bunch. The
He's a
fellow
racist.
from
He is awful version.
Yeah.
T-Rex. He died in the late 70s.
Oh, okay.
There's a huge statue to him in his hometown. But anyway,
Was it of like a big T-Rex?
yeah, I wish.
He's
cool.
riding on one.
He's
got
he's got a
shotguns
big
in both
guitar.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Anyway, it's pretty sick. Fuck yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Under My Thumb, great song. Hell yeah.
Any classic rock on this album, Jamie's finding it.
Yeah.
Any crumb
no,
of
like
music.
the Metric songs, the Broken Social Scene song. Those are great. I'm a huge Frank Black fan in general. His song is really good. I forget what album that actually is on. Of his own. I think it might be. Is it on Teenager of the Year? I can't
I've
remember.
never listened to any of his solo stuff.
Oh, it's great. His
I
good
listened to
album.
the Pixies a little bit. I'm not like huge on them, but I haven't heard any of his solo stuff.
His most successful solo album was called Teenager of the Year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's an album name. It's a good album name.
It's a good album name. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
No,
well.
it was a good album. How much did you pay for it?
About like $40, I think.
Yeah, I was
40,
gonna say,
45. I
yeah,
think it was.
yeah.
Seems
right.
about right.
Yeah.
My vinyl verdict, it's a fantastic album.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
glad I own it. It was a bit expensive, but it was worth it. We're not counting these in our rankings, but it'd probably be higher up in it. The only thing I wish is that there was, at least the time I bought it, a super deluxe one that had the bonus tracks, like the Brie Larson, Black Sheep, as well as, I believe there are the demos of the band songs that are actually Beck performing them.
That's cool.
Which I also would have enjoyed just as a fan of the movie and as a fan of Beck. But the color of it is awesome.
Yeah.
The styling of the whole thing is really cool, and the music is diverse. I don't know if it's something I'd put on like while people are over, but I would definitely just listen to it for myself and
Yeah,
enjoy
sure.
it.
I like the cover art.
Yeah, it's Scott rocking out.
Yeah.
What are your guys' final thoughts?
I like it. Like I said before, I think it's kind of a collection. And so I don't know if I'd listen to it by itself, honestly. Because, like, the movie's okay, but I'm not crazy about it. And I do like a good, decent portion of the tracks on here. But they're so, like, it's not super cohesive. It's not meant to be, like, an album, right?
Yeah.
So I personally probably wouldn't really put it on. And I would just go, like, if I liked a few of the songs, like, I would just go find them on YouTube and, like, listen to them. Or Spotify or whatever you use. Yeah. And I would just listen to them that way.
Teaser.
Yeah. But I can appreciate enjoying a movie and liking the music in that movie, especially when it's such a heavily featured influence or part of it, and then wanting to own the record for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's a good
I
choice,
own
Bill.
a ton of movie soundtracks. I only brought a couple with me today. I guess I
Wow.
probably should have brought more, but you ever seen the movie American Graffiti?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the soundtrack to that.
Isn't that a Led Zeppelin album?
No, it's Physical Graffiti.
Oh, yeah, it's Physical Graffiti. You're right.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Good for you for knowing things. Plouffe, knower.
Knower of things.
Knower of things. So that's a George Lucas film.
Yeah.
I have the soundtrack to that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that would be. I haven't seen that movie in years.
That's a double vinyl.
Yeah?
Yeah. So that's like, if you look at my record collection, that's the A. So like, it's the only album I own that starts with. Well, no, I have.
Oh, really?
I was wondering what that meant. I was like, okay, it's
Oh.
the
It's
A.
the A
It's the-
rating.
yeah,
It's
it's
not
like-
S rank?
No,
It's like, it's there with the AC/DC albums. That's like the
Cool.
like the 3A albums I have, and then there's like 40 Beatles albums, and then it goes on to everything else.
Yeah. I have a few A bands and a few
Oh
B bands.
wait, I got Help. I guess that's the soundtrack to that movie.
I
yeah,
need
'cause
somebody.
And then I have the soundtrack to Hard Day's Night, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. That's another soundtrack. And then I have
Two
Magical
more soundtracks.
Magical Mystery Tour. That's the
bathing
soundtrack.
in soundtracks.
So that's another one.
Damn, Jamie.
Sgt. Pepper's. That's not a soundtrack
Yeah.
until you count the one that he has.
Which
Because that's
like
for the
covers
movie,
by other
right?
bands and
Yeah.
by
Then I got
yeah,
Yellow
for the-
Submarine.
Oh, God.
I have both the soundtrack and then the orchestra soundtrack,
Yeah.
which is like the other one. And that's all the Beatles ones I've got. And then what else do I have? I got Close Encounters, because that's a banger. Rocky Horror.
Oh, no way. You've got
So-
Rocky Horror
So I've
Picture
got
Show?
Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then I just have Rocky Horror Show, which is the
Oh.
London cast.
Oh,
Interesting.
cool.
They came out at the same time. And then
I actually really like that differentiator.
Yeah.
Picture show for the movie and just show for the stage. That's
Yeah.
fun.
And then I have the soundtracks from Russia with Love, Goldfinger. I brought You Only Live Twice with me today. And then I have one called the James Bond 10-Year Collection, which is like
All of them.
This guy loves
what's
James
the
Bond.
first. It's all the Sean Connery movies, so it takes you up to Diamonds Are Forever, which
The
was
good
like
ones.
the good ones, right?
The Kanye
Yeah.
West song.
What was that?
That's
Diamonds
okay,
Are
go
Forever.
ahead.
Yeah, is it really?
Yeah, it's a great one.
No, I didn't know that. No, that's good to know. Anyway.
Forever.
So that one
You say
has
Connery West?
Dude, that'd be a great. That'd be a good one though.
Yeah.
It's a weird Scottish accent in the rap. And then what else do I have? I've got the Bob Dylan soundtrack to Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, which is a Sam Peckinpah movie, which is a good one.
That's what they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, you got a lot of soundtracks. You and Bell both. I was actually surprised when you started just listing them off. I've got like 4.
Yeah, I was also surprised at how many I had. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know I had West Side.
Oh, and I got The
Story.
Graduate, just like you do. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
got The
it's a
Graduate.
great one.
yeah.
A good movie.
Yeah. Do I have another one? I think I have another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Clearly, it's not that good. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it must not be.
Forgot about it.
Oh well.
okay.
I've got the single for Thriller, but it's like the one that has like all the talking on the one
What?
side from the music video.
But
why would you want that?
I don't know. Like the one side is just Thriller, and the other side is
Yeah,
like
just the
the
talking?
music video. The music video is really good. Like it's
the
like
Thriller
the first,
music video? Yeah, it's a
yeah.
great music video, yeah.
Do I have another one? I might. Oh, I've got the Woodstock soundtrack. which is like the
Does
sound.
that count though? Oh, is it the movie?
The Woodstock, the movie, the
yeah.
soundtrack, which is just the
It's
concert.
so weird.
Yeah,
I forgot they made a movie.
yeah. Do I have another one? I might. Anyway, it's not important. But the one I really wanted you guys to listen to, and I forgot I owned, was the Pat Garrett one, which is like it's like a really good Bob Dylan soundtrack because Bob Dylan doesn't sing and like.
That's
Like,
what makes it a good.
like
Bob-
10 out of the 12.
I love Bob Dylan's voice, but it's not for everybody.
He sings on like three of the songs, and one of them is the iconic "Knocking on Heaven's Door," which is
Oh.
later covered by Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Hey, that would be good for a cover one.
Hey, there you go.
The Guns N' Roses album that has "Knocking on Heaven's
Yeah.
Door" on. I don't remember which one that one is. Oh, and they also did a cover of "Live and Let Die."
Yeah, they
Which-
did.
yeah,
Live
that's
and
a
let
good song.
die,
Yeah.
That's a really good song.
burner. Guns N' Roses.
Oh, dude, yeah, Guns N' Roses, man. They're killing
Man,
it.
they went downhill so fast. I like early Guns N' Roses quite a bit.
Chinese Democracy came
King
15 years
garbage.
late.
Yeah.
But yeah, jeez, man. But yeah, so I brought the James Bond soundtrack. I like You Only Live Twice. Unfortunately, this version of the soundtrack, which was the actual official soundtrack release, does not include the instrumental version of the theme song.
Oh.
The
Oh,
theme,
interesting.
the instrumental version of the theme song, I feel is way stronger than Nancy Sinatra's.
Bad take.
I like Nancy Sinatra's singing. It's actually at the beginning and the end
she's
of the
great.
It is.
album. Yeah.
I just don't like Nancy Sinatra singing. Is what you're saying?
No, I like it, but I like the instrumental behind it. I
Yeah.
find it very over the top.
Okay.
That whole movie's over the top. Up until maybe 10 years ago, that was the longest James Bond movie. It was like 2.5, maybe almost 3 hours long.
What beat it?
It's really
Skyfall?
long.
Skyfall, I think, is the longer.
Damn.
Longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's
Skyfall
almost
was
3
so
hours.
long. I remember seeing that in the theaters.
But it was the most epic feeling James Bond because that was the first time they killed James Bond off.
Whoa, spoilers. I, for one, have never seen a James Bond movie.
A single
Okay,
one?
did
Not
you-
a single one.
Wow.
Would you like to borrow my James Bond collection?
got 'em all,
50
Bell.
movies? Or sorry, the first 21 movies, I guess.
I don't have a
because-
way of watching movies. I don't have a console or a DVD
Hey,
player.
we got a Blu-ray player at work
Yeah, you
right
can borrow
now.
the Blu-ray player.
Let's go.
They
It'll
bought
look-
it just for Plouffe's video.
Hey, we've spent
Please
more on
watch
other
that video.
videos. It'll be good. People, hey, that one actually did pretty well.
If you know where we work, go and watch
Please
that
watch
old
Plouffe's
Blu-ray
video.
video because it's probably coming out like several months after.
It's
One
a-
or two.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, it's already out for sure.
Yeah, it already came out.
Yeah, it did okay.
It did okay.
It did. It had like 1.5 million or something.
Anyways,
But yeah, I really like John Barry is the composer for all the James Bond music, and his music is very of a time. You know, like with
Right.
like the really bombastic sounding trumpets and
Yeah.
like trombones in it. Like almost like dangerously sexy sounding music for like a theme song.
Yeah.
All of them are like that.
Yeah, every Bond movie is kind of like that. The title tracks are always a little bit seductive.
Yeah, and like so is the background because it's always
Yeah.
like naked ladies with guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's so good though, right? Especially the one called Octopussy.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that one was that's a good movie too, by the way. The only one that I will say that doesn't have a sexy theme is the one that Louis Armstrong sings. So, George Lazenby,
gotta make sense.
right?
Yeah.
George Lazenby was the James Bond in that movie. That whole movie's weird.
Is
like-
Lazenby the one that only had like one movie?
He
Or no,
had
that-
one movie.
Yeah.
And then they brought Sean Connery back.
Yeah.
The next one, and then it was Roger Moore for
Yeah.
like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, what was weird was that they got rid of Sean Connery because he was getting older, but then
Yeah.
they hired Roger Moore, who was even older than Sean Connery. And
Yeah.
by the time he stopped playing him, like Roger Moore was in his like 50s.
Haven't most of them quit partially because they're like, I'm too old and the Bond girls are like 20 years old and it feels weird? Or at least a couple of them have. It's not just Daniel Craig.
I'm sure it's not all of them, considering Sean Connery's
No.
also not a great guy.
He's a pretty chauvinistic dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you just gotta hit him. It's like, oh.
Yeah, okay to hit your it's okay to hit your wife as long as you have
Barbara,
an
what's her name?
open fist.
Barbara Walters is like, what? She's like, yeah, you just gotta
I
smack him.
forgot about that.
Would you hit? I'd smack you.
Oh my god, I forgot about that interview.
Yeah, you just gotta use an open hand. Jesus
Christ. He's a man of his time. Not even. He's
No.
fucking no.
Oh, hell of a actor in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, though.
Yeah,
that's
God
a good
damn.
movie. Holy shit! The scene with the umbrella. So
Yeah,
good.
it's iconic.
Fuck. What was the other one? No, like Timothy Dalton only did 2 movies and then he bounced.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did. They neither of them are good movies. And then Roger Moore was in it for like 10 years, but yeah, he got old. I don't think he could do some of those stunts anymore.
Right.
It's all about Pierce Brosnan.
And then they got Pierce Brosnan, who was.
And I only say that because of GoldenEye for N64.
Brosnan looks like James Bond to me, though. Like, he visually looks like James Bond to me.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, if I'm
one.
picturing James Bond, I'm picturing.
Yeah, I
Pierce
don't.
Brosnan.
I'm not saying he's
Well, that's
the
because
best Bond.
he's the one we grew up with.
Totally. Yeah, that's probably pretty much it. Actually.
Yeah.
You look like you had a reason why scientifically.
yeah,
and you're
no,
like,
it's gone. I'm like, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Like I
agree with
remember
that.
picking out suits for a wedding, and I was just like, I want the Sean Connery 3-piece suit
Nice.
from Goldfinger, and the guy's like, oh, say no more. I got one of those.
Yeah, hell yeah, he
I
just
have the
knew
exact
it.
suit.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you mean like this gray tweed suit? And I was like, yeah, it's perfect, right? He's like, yeah, it'll be nice in an August day because this wedding's in August, right? I was like, yeah, it's nice and light. It's like a
Perfect.
nice like gray, and like
It's a
it's
very weird conversation.
And anyway, like, I don't know. The soundtracks are very good.
This one specifically.
This one specifically is one I enjoy. Did you want to give it one last listen, Bill?
Let's hear some more general thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Because I actually have some.
Oh, would you like to hear?
So I've never
tell me.
watched a Bond movie,
Okay.
but this was really good.
Yeah. Right.
The titles of the songs, it's so funny. I don't know what I expected.
Yeah.
But really, you just see the plot.
Yeah.
This is what happens in the movie.
James Bond stops World War III.
He
It's
goes
like
to
the
space.
last track. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't,
Wait,
I'm
no,
guessing.
he's not in space.
Capsule in space or something
Capsule
in
in
space.
space is
But
like
it says James Bond astronaut.
he doesn't go to space in this one, but
Yeah, it's
there's
Moonraker, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Moonraker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It teased the space shuttle before the space shuttle was a thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Bond averts World War III is one of the
so
very
Nice.
funny.
at the beginning of the movie, there's an American space capsule in space, and it gets swallowed up by a bigger one that's owned by Spectre. And then at the same time, they swallow up a Russian one. And the idea was that they were like, oh no, the Russians shot down the American one, and then they fought back. And then there's like conjecture, and it's like,
Yeah.
and so it turned out it was just like Spectre doing Spectre shit.
I always forget that Spectre's been a thing.
Spectre's
like,
been
this
a thing
whole
for years in
time.
James Bond. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, you're right. The music just explains what's
I just
going
like
on.
glazed over. I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Ghosts, specters.
But you're right. The titles of the tracks explain what's going on in the plot, and that's because I believe John Barry wrote the music along with the script. So like he had the script in front of him, and like the music was being played or like written as the film was playing in front of him. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's funny. I was like, I left my rough notes here because that was funny. I was like, this song reminds me of The Incredibles. This one too. Wait, is that the only spy movie I've seen? Well, I've seen Austin Powers, and some of the songs remind me of that, but I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because Austin Powers is a parody of
Yeah.
James Bond
Yeah.
movies.
And
yeah.
then the last note I have is just definitely a movie score.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, because I've never, like I said, I've never seen James Bond, and that's like the spy movie.
Yeah.
So like the inklings you see in pop culture now, I'm like, oh, it's from this. Like these instruments being used in this way, the teasing of things.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not all James Bond, but a lot of it comes from how prolific these movies
Yeah.
were.
Of course.
That it's like, dang, man. Definitely. It's actually, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And you'll notice that in some of the tracks, there's like a callback to earlier parts of the soundtrack. That's a very quintessential Bond theme. Like there will be like a what do they call that? A leitmotif?
I don't know. I've actually never noticed that in a Bond movie.
Yeah, it's like the title track, like little like a
Oh.
4-bar bit of it will
Oh,
show up in
yes.
another song.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or it'll show up just ever so briefly on its own, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that a lot, and they do that with the 007 theme. That's not on this soundtrack, but like occasionally when something James Bondy is happening on screen, they'll do like a little like hit from the James Bond theme in the middle of it.
Yeah.
They do that in the new movies too.
Yep.
But just very briefly. But it's just like, oh, he's gonna do some James Bond shit right here.
Yeah, but I guess you hype. Yeah, right. Yeah, very excited. Again, my only experience with this is the GoldenEye campaign.
Yeah.
But that happens.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time there's a big explosion or he's on a snowmobile running away from something, it's like,
Yeah.
Plouffe, do you have any other general thoughts before we give it a last listen?
It's definitely a movie soundtrack.
Hell yeah.
It reminds me, so like Belle, your album was a lot more pop music kind of. Not, I don't want to say pop culture music, but like their songs.
Yeah.
Whereas, this is a score with some songs on it, basically, because they always do a title track with lyrics by like a famous artist at the time. Who is the famous artist who does the title track on this one? Nancy Sinatra?
Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah, she's great. I don't know. I'm not like crazy about most of it, but a good portion of the album is really good. Her songs are standout. I didn't listen to the entire thing because I couldn't find all of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have Spotify, but I did find like the title tracks and then a few others, and I really, I enjoyed it. It's fine. It's a movie. It's a movie soundtrack.
It's a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some very racist sounding so the movie is partially set in Japan.
Oh, God.
So on the first side, there's like this music that sounds like a white guy trying to do
my God.
vaguely Japanese sounding music.
And
do you remember that track?
Yes.
When did this come out? 75 or something?
67.
67. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about these songs after we give you one last listen.
Yeah.
You only live twice, or so it seems. One life for yourself and one for your dreams.
That's how we're coming back. We're live now.
Yeah.
This was really good. I liked the intro song a lot.
Yeah.
I also like how when I clicked it on Spotify, the album art is Mad Men. I'm
Oh,
guessing this is in Mad
what?
Men at some
Oh,
point.
yeah, probably. Sure.
But I just like click it. Even right now, I haven't because I like listen while we're talking.
Yeah, it must have
I
been
see
on
the
there.
Mad Men album cover, but I think it was really great. She has a beautiful voice, Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah.
And I again haven't heard a Bond song, and I was like, this isn't what I was expecting. But it's like
Have you heard
beautiful.
Skyfall, the Adele song?
No.
Or that Sam Smith song? What the was that one called?
I don't know what one the Sam Smith one is. I remember the Adele song.
Set Fire to the Rain? No, that's an Adele song again.
I think they just call him the movie name.
No.
But I like the little guitar riffs that play. It's like do 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 do. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it makes me want to listen to other Bond songs because
Sure.
that was really really unique and interesting.
Jamie's got all of them. You can borrow all the soundtracks.
You can borrow all the movies if you want.
Yeah, I still. I mean, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they're on Prime now because Prime bought MGM. Amazon bought MGM, so
Damn.
Thank God for
Jeff Bezos
monopolies.
owns James Bond now.
Yo.
So he's gonna be the new Bond, Bald Bond.
I don't like it anymore.
I don't like it either.
He
They're
could
all-
be the bad guy.
They're only,
be the greatest.
Yeah, I was gonna say
villain.
like Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
$100 billion.
Actually, so that's not a lot of money anymore.
There were only a couple songs that really stood out for me, and they're back to back. I really liked Mountains and Sunsets and The Wedding.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sure.
Mountains and Sunsets, I liked it. It was like the first one that kind of got me into it.
Yeah.
And I had to do some Googling because of what we were talking about earlier. It has some, this wasn't offensive at the time. And I Googled it, and some people say
It's
it's
got
not
yellow
offensive.
face in it.
No, I was going to say
Well, it does have
Oriental.
yellow face. Oh,
God.
It has Oriental instruments.
Oh, no. I'm
Only
sorry.
because it's like very specifically these instruments that
Yes.
were used back in the day to be like, we're in Asia now.
Yeah.
Which is like what you're saying, where it's like, I see they're really trying to push that this is somewhere in the East.
There's a subplot in this movie where they dress Sean Connery up to look Japanese, and it is very, very cringe.
It is of the time.
Yes, it is extremely of the time.
But the wedding, beautiful.
Yeah, that
I
is great soundtrack. Yeah.
loved this song. It struck emotions in me.
Really?
I don't know which,
Wow.
but it struck them. And it was like a little sad, and then the tones started to trend up a bit, but they still like, it's down, 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 up a little bit, down, 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 up a little bit, and it like kind of tells a story. And it's definitely my favorite on the album, and I listened to it a couple times just because I really enjoyed the painting of this wedding. I don't know. Again, I don't know what happens in the movie,
Yeah.
or if it's actually a wedding, but it was just like really beautiful music. I was like, I enjoy this a lot, and I would listen to it.
Nice. You put it on?
I would.
Damn.
Damn.
That's high
I've never
praise.
picked an album that Belle didn't like.
Oh, it's true. I'm the only one.
Isn't that wild?
Do I like the album? No, because a lot of it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But there are definitely songs on this I do enjoy.
Yeah. Wow. Jamie's picks. Belle likes them.
Yeah. It's cool.
Weird.
Very one-sided.
I pick my
Isn't it though?
I pick the weird albums that I like. That nobody knows who they are.
Plouffe, do you have any thoughts about songs on this album?
No, because like I couldn't find a full track list. I found some, like I said, I found the key tracks and
I should just let you borrow the LP.
Oh yeah, I could have listened to it. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Hey, it's final verdict. We don't talk about music.
The difference is though is I have seen like I've seen this movie when I was a kid. I've seen most Bond movies. I kind of get the gist of what a James Bond soundtrack is.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if you played them all back to back and tried to like pick one out from the other without the title tracks, it'd be hard to know which one's which. Maybe not for Jamie, but for most people, yeah.
Jamie knows the timestamps off the top of his head.
Oh,
Yeah,
baby.
it's weird.
It's 3 minutes in. Why is this song? But no, it's fine. It's a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
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 It's 100% it. I was so I figured out during our listening break which the other album I have is, and it's this orchestral soundtrack to Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's fucking dope.
Lawrence, what, of Arabia?
Yeah.
Man, I actually watched that for the first time like 4 years ago or something because it's on Netflix.
So good.
It's like 3.5 hours long or
yeah, it's
whatever.
intermission.
Oh my
in the middle.
gosh.
Yeah, it's got an intermission.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what they
great
used
though.
to do, yeah.
It really is. Like
I'd watch it, but I got to watch 21 James Bond movies. So
Yeah, dude.
I'm kind of
yeah,
busy for
I
the next
feel you.
couple years.
23
Yeah.
now.
23. Oh my god.
There's the interesting thing about those or that movie or like epic movies in general is that on their soundtrack they have an overture, which is like it's all the themes you're going to hear during the movie as one track, and that's what they did with long movies. So sort of like on Live at Leeds where they did the overture from Tommy, which is just like all the different themes as one track. They do that in epic movies too. For example, one I own on CD but I don't own on record is the soundtrack to the musical Oklahoma, and it starts off with an overture as well, and it's basically just different themes from the musical. But the overture from Lawrence of Arabia is a fucking banger.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it is that it plays over a basically black screen at the beginning of the movie. And then it goes to that scene where he's riding on the motorcycle, and then he crashes, and that's how Lawrence dies. But then it goes back to telling the story of how, like, his life.
You just said you're not gonna watch it.
It's 3.5 hours long. You can borrow
You had
it.
me sold by
It's
intro
from-
at the black screen.
Oh.
Damn.
And then, like,
He breaks trains in that movie. It's cool.
What does that mean?
oh yeah, he does.
You gotta watch the movie to find
He
out.
breaks bad.
Yeah.
Heisenberg.
Yes, there's a lot of bad being brought. Oh fuck, that movie's so good.
Yeah, I
You know,
know.
here's a non-music related fact about that movie. The movie was so hot while they were filming it that they had to take the film.
Yeah, I heard this.
They had to take the film
Canisters.
and put it in ice buckets.
Yeah.
Because the film was like baking in the cameras.
Yeah.
Because they were filming in the desert.
How much footage do you think they lost before they realized that was happening?
So what they were doing was they were filming and immediately sending it off to an editing studio, and then it was processed. So they didn't lose a lot. But what happened is that there was spots on the film from heat where the film got a little boily. And then that restoration that you watched on Netflix
yeah.
and the same one that I own on Blu-ray, was the first to use this technology that was able
like,
to use AI
to clean
and
it up.
to clean up all these spots. And now
Oh,
the
that's
movie looks better
cool.
than
It's
it
the same
looks.
one they used for the GTA trilogy.
Oh God!
Oh,
Don't
God.
even. No. That was a smoothing
ooh.
filter, and it
Ooh.
looks terrible. It wasn't a smoothing filter. I don't know
Oh,
what they did,
God.
but it's so bad.
Jesus. But anyway, they did that, and then it won an award at that year's Academy Awards for best like re-release or re-editing of a
That's
movie.
cool. I didn't know that.
But that movie went back into theaters, and people said that it looked better than it did when it was in theaters.
That makes
like, on
sense.
first run
that
because
makes
they
sense.
cleaned up the
Yeah, of course it's gonna
the
look better.
film, and it looks beautiful. But what a great movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Speaking of great movies,
you want to talk about it?
yeah.
Let's give them something to talk about.
So I'll give you something to talk about. So I've got 4 movie or show soundtracks. I have plenty of video game vinyl, but as for movie and TV, not so much.
As a gamer.
I'm a gamer. I'm gaming
Gamer.
now, boys. So the ones that I would like to point out are my Cowboy Bebop bootleg.
So jealous.
I know that they've
How'd you
done.
not choose this as the one we're focusing
So
on?
there's actually another one I'm pissed off that I didn't choose that I only realized I have like 10 minutes ago.
What an idiot.
And
Oh,
I
no.
pulled it up and I'm like, why didn't I choose this one? I love this
What a
one.
maroon.
I love this one too. So I think that's the thing is like I only have 4, but I really like them all.
Okay,
Like
we're
this,
on the edge of our seat. What is this?
this
other
was
one?
Tell me the
actually a
story.
really tough. Hold on, I'll get there. So Cowboy Bebop is a bootleg. There's an official release. I don't have that because I got this one years ago.
Yeah.
And then I've got the heavy metal soundtrack.
Oh,
which
I have that
Jamie-
one too.
Jamie picked
God
it up
damn
for me
Yeah.
from a lot at an auction like
Yeah.
a few weeks ago or
But
whatever.
for this Cowboy Bebop one, you said an interesting fact.
What?
The
Oh yeah,
missing track.
there's a missing track on it. I can't remember which one, but if you're like paying attention, like you're like, oh, this song, okay, and then you're like actually going through.
Is it listed on the label too?
I'm pretty sure it's listed on.
It's on the sleeve, but is it on the label?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, and it's like a bootleg, so I don't have high expectations of it.
I just love that there's just missing songs.
But it's great. I mean, it opens with tanks, you know. But
That's all you
we're
need,
not.
yeah.
We're not.
Are
well,
you
we're
sure
not
we can just talk
discussing-
about?
We're not discussing Cowboy Bebop. And then heavy metal, and then the third one I have that I actually kind of wish I had chosen instead is the Life Aquatic.
Oh, that's
So
a
here-
good soundtrack.
So here's the thing. You know how there's that Brazilian dude playing David Bowie songs in Portuguese throughout the movie on, on
I have
acoustic
the-
guitar?
The minute you said Brazilian, I also have the soundtrack to the movie Brazil.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyway, go on.
That's fine. That's his name's Sue Jorge or George. I'm not sure. Either way, he is like an actual musician. He's somewhat famous in Brazil. And they got him for the movie, and he's actually like playing David Bowie songs in Portuguese. And unless you know David Bowie songs or you speak Portuguese, you have no idea. You just think it's some dude playing guitar. But I don't know if it's a bootleg or not, but it's like a clear pressing, and it's just all his David Bowie songs in Portuguese.
Oh,
and it's
cool.
it's good. Like
I've never listened to David Bowie, so that would have been a cool first experience.
I honestly
Maybe I'll pick a David Bowie
recommend.
album.
Like I'll probably let you take this one home with you or something because
Let's go.
it's a fantastic
Portuguese.
album. Sorry.
It's in Portuguese.
Yeah, it's in Portuguese. It's so good, and if you know David Bowie, it's got like spiders from. Okay.
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah. Here, let me.
Give us a play-by-play. What are you doing?
I'm just finding
I'm not
some
cutting
tracks.
this. You gotta-
I'm
you
just
gotta
I'm
do it.
just finding the track list for
Boom,
you because
boom,
Jimmy wants to
boom.
know what's on it. It's Rebel, Life on
Okay.
Mars, Starman, Ziggy Stardust, Lady Stardust, Changes. So Changes, but in Portuguese.
Is Fame
and
on there?
And it's all Portuguese, and that's Changes. Or
Oh, that's
whatever.
a good
Yeah.
song. It's in Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. it is. That's how I judge anything. Is it on the Shrek soundtrack?
But yeah, it's that one's great, but unfortunately I didn't pick it. Or fortunately, because the other one that I absolutely love is the Conan the Barbarian original.
Yeah, Conan the
OST.
Barbarian. It's great.
Yeah, I mean original OST. It's the original soundtrack to the movie. It's
What is
Arnie
best
Schwarzenegger.
in life?
Arnold. Arnold is best in life.
Okay.
No.
Hear the lamentations of the women.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't realize you were quoting. It's the whole thing's by Basil Polidorus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's basically your typical like epic fantasy soundtrack.
Yes.
I originally bought this.
Was this movie a box office success? I can't remember.
I don't know. I want to
it
say
good?
yes because there was a
The
sequel.
budget. The budget is all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they spent a lot of money.
So I've
on
never
this
seen it.
movie.
Is it good?
Oh god,
Oh, I
you've
like
never
it.
seen Conan?
Yeah.
No.
Oh
Yeah, it's a
man,
great
100%. You should watch it. It's great.
It's a
It's
great fucking movie.
It's one of Arnold's first movies too, where he was like really popular, and he crushes it as a fucking barbarian.
Yes.
Who's just like ripped. He's got a big ass sword. It's awesome. Like,
Does he hang dong?
no,
No.
but I know that really would have really would have pushed me over the edge.
Oh, you mean like it in that one heavy metal one where the guy?
Oh,
gets,
yeah.
he's just like walking around his
He's
huge
walking
dong.
around with his balls out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I originally bought
He
this.
got distracted.
I mean,
a big smile across his face.
partly because thinking about what's his face's balls. I originally bought this. I mean, partly just because I love Conan the Barbarian, but mostly because I was DMing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons at the time. And
Nerd shit.
part of this, like, this album's really long. We were discussing this
is.
earlier.
It's
And
mathematically impossible to fit on an LP.
yeah, I was kind of surprised. It's like, it's a heavy record too. I mean, it came out in like 1980 something.
It's an hour and 42 minutes. If you're
Yeah.
wondering.
Okay.
And it's got, it's a heavy vinyl though. I don't know if it's 180, but it's,
Might be 360.
oh yeah, it's thick.
It's a weighty vinyl.
Yeah, and that's one LP. Like if you take it out, Jamie, that's a single LP. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty thick. I love the
The
album.
art is amazing.
The
Oh,
art,
it's a
yeah,
ba-
it's just
oh.
like it's like the box office art for Conan, and then the back.
It's a Geffen Records, just like heavy metal.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
On the back is just Conan like chilling with this pink sky in the background or something, and then it's got
So
a track
there's
list or
6 on
something like
side
that.
1, 6 on side 2. That's a good amount of music, and they're not short tracks.
They're very
No,
long. The
they're
last one's
long.
like 13 minutes.
Yeah,
something like
so
that.
that's why
This
I was.
one doesn't have a 13-minute track on it.
So that's why I was using. Yeah, I think you listened
Yeah,
to like
so
an extended
Orphans of
version or
Doom.
something.
How long does it? Does it have track lengths?
Orphans of Doom / The Awakening is 4:38 on this one. But
Awesome.
yes, you're right. On the actual like Spotify release, it's like 13 minutes long.
So on Spotify, they actually have an organ release that I almost listened to.
Yes.
So I found some
Oh.
dude ripped the album and put it on YouTube. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
So the Spotify release is not the actual one.
No,
It's like
there's-
an organ tribute
Yeah.
to Conan the
By
Barbarian.
some
and then
famous organist.
and then there's another one done by like the something Philharmonic is just like
Oh,
a
yeah.
concert album.
Which also is not the same track
No,
listing. It's super
not.
odd.
Yeah, it's just like it's like the good ones from it.
Yeah, it's a long record, but I don't think it's like an hour and 40 minutes on the record release at least.
No, but it
is lengthy and it's a girthy album.
it's a yes,
Yeah,
lengthy and girthy. Yeah,
Really
thick,
phallic episode.
Oh yeah, but
thick. It's
no,
just
it's
meaty.
I originally chose it partly because these tracks are so long. So for instance, a lot of these they're very different too, right? Like as you listen, it tells a story.
Yes.
And
Well, sort of like You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I was able to do was I would make notes of which song to play and like what listing it was in, so I'd find the groove and put the needle down for every time I would have to like, oh, we're in a market right now. And I'd-
so this is part of your DMing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Theology Civilization
Yeah.
would be obviously a great one for that.
Right? Exactly. That's exactly the one that I would use.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. I love all the tracks on here. None of them really stand out too much in any way. I would use them for completely different things. Some of them was like boss battle music. Some of them was like market.
You went above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, I tried really hard to be a DM. I'll show you guys pictures after of like scrolls and stuff I made for my group.
Keep forgetting James Earl Jones is in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. I'm probably going to rewatch it plus the sequel at some point in the near future.
Oh, Conan and Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the third one, Conan 2077, where it gets sent to the future.
No, there's actually a Conan like remake from like 2014 or 2012
I
or
don't
something. They
remember.
remade Conan. It was terrible. Don't watch it.
Is it one of those?
I can't remember if it's a
It is.
reboot
Is
or
it
what. But it was so
Uwe
fucking-
Boll?
No, I don't think it was Uwe Boll. It was so
was
bad
definitely
though.
not Uwe Boll.
But
Remember when they
Anyway.
did the King Arthur movie and that was bad?
yeah, that was so
That's
bad.
Guy Pearce. Though,
Holy
isn't it?
Christ,
Yeah.
that was a terrible movie.
Yeah, this was actually
Wait,
pretty
not
decent,
Guy
though.
Pearce. The guy who did Lock, Stock. The hell is that guy's
Guy
name?
Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah. He's
I
great,
liked
too.
I like the names of these songs.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cool.
The Kitchen / The Orgy.
Yeah.
Interesting mix. Battle of the Mounds.
Wheel of Pain.
Wifing. It's
Yeah,
like, I
wiping.
love these. It really paints a picture because again,
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Totally.
But the music is very barbaric. So I mean, it makes sense and very D&D.
Wifing brackets theme of love from Conan the Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Right, so it's like yes, and definitely some of these songs like struck my imagination and got me picturing.
Yeah.
I
Gift
think
of Fury. That's a
Theology
good
was
song.
a good one to like make me really picture the world and be like, oh, this is really
Riders
cool.
of
Yeah.
Doom.
I preferred the slower moments
Sure.
in between the action where the instruments actually got some time because like
Yeah.
some of them it's just like boom,
Very
boom, boom. It's
yes,
like okay, like
very
it is,
bombastic
again,
drums.
very barbaric.
Bum, bum, bum,
But I
bum.
like the
Yeah.
instruments getting to actually instrument. But like I don't tie it to a movie, so like
Sure.
obviously I don't think I'd ever listen to it. But there were some good ones on here.
Yeah. A lot of the instrumentals are like, I don't know, there's a lot of like flute and what's that other instrument? But it's very drummy in some parts and like marchy. Like but it changes tones. Like even the opening song goes from like ba, 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 and then it goes into this like, I don't know, maybe it's because I've seen the movie, but all I can picture is like Conan going over hills and stuff, and like it's this really epic
Running on all fours.
Yeah, well, not all four. It's just like when I think high fantasy and just epic, like the word epic, this is the exact kind of music
Epic.
that I imagine. Yeah, I hate using that fucking word
Me
these
too.
days because of like I'm an epic gamer, bro. I fucking hate that. But like this is the word epic is for stuff like this, in my opinion. It just matches the tone so well.
This is epic.
Yeah, this is epic. Fuck, man, now all I'm thinking about is memes.
Well, let's listen to this epic album.
Yeah. Epic.
Now that was epic.
What an epic movie.
What an epic moment.
I don't have many thoughts on a lot of these songs, but I did like Atlantean Sword.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Lots of instruments that complement each other.
See, I watched the
complement each
movie
other well.
recently.
Oh,
and
yeah?
and like listening to the soundtrack, I'm just like, yeah, that was a good part of the movie.
Right?
Fuck yeah.
It tied me. It like every time I listen to it, I get flashes of the movie because I've seen it like 3 times.
You get hot flashes when you
Yeah,
watch the
a little
movie?
bit. You know, when Arnie shows up and he's like, God, he's so buff. Holy shit! This is like peak Arnold though. Like when he was doing
Pumping iron.
Yeah, when he was doing Mr. Universe competitions or whatever the hell he was doing. It's I don't know. It's so hard. It's so simple to describe that I can't use many more words because it's just
Other than epic.
it is the epic, over the top, high fantasy.
It's a banger.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put this on when I'm just like cleaning my apartment or whatever. Partly because it's so long. I like being able to set aside.
Put
down
on your
and just-
loincloth and start cleaning the apartment.
No, but like it's like it.
That's some risky business.
There's not a lot of albums that will just like pull me out of a funk instantly or make me feel like just good instantly. But this one will do it every single time. That
Does the song
opening.
make you feel like dancing?
Not dancing, just being energetic. Like it feels powerful. Like that one opening track, Anvil of Crom. It just, I don't know. It brings me back to my childhood, I guess, watching f***ing Conan movies and eating pizza on Friday nights.
Hell yeah.
And then it reminds me of my like playing D&D with my friends and stuff. So this is the one I chose because it's probably my favorite of the regular like OST. If I think of an OST for a soundtrack, like for a movie or a game or something, I think of just like full orchestra kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of big drums and like battle music and stuff like that. I don't typically think of songs with like lyrics in it or like a regular, like not pop song, but something that you'd hear on the radio.
Sure.
I tend to think of instrumental stuff, and so that's why I picked it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a cool album. Like, there's not many that I'm like, check it out, I got the fucking Conan soundtrack.
Nah.
But that's one that'll usually like bust out at some point.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked. There's only like 3 songs
Sure.
that stuck out, which was Atlantean Sword, Theology/Civilization.
Yeah, that one's great.
And I wrote down the kitchen/the orgy just because it's weird orgy music.
Yeah.
I can't picture or don't want to picture that
Oh,
orgy.
you gotta watch this movie.
But
at
I
some
did. It's
point.
funny.
Great
The two songs I liked, Atlantean Sword and Theology, both are like city songs.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Atlantean feels like you're going to a new, beautiful, advanced city, and Theology is like you're in a bustling marketplace,
yeah.
and there's like a booming crescendo right before the end. Mm-hmm. Maybe you found someone or something, and again, it like piqued my interest. I just don't have a lot of experience in movies like this, so like I can't picture anything in the world. I just like, yes, my time is playing D&D or Skyrim, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's like nothing else, but I did enjoy it. I obviously listened to a very long version of the album, which was too long, but I listened to it.
Yeah, it's a single LP. So I was surprised when you said it was like an hour and 42 minutes. Mine is definitely not that long. It's got, what,
12 tracks.
12 tracks, and they're all like 3 to 5 minutes long.
Well, you
So
know what?
it's-
I spent an hour and 40 minutes of this. I could have watched a movie.
I appreciate it. You could
I
watch
think,
the movie.
I think
yeah,
you might have just listened to the soundtrack
of the
from
entire
the
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense because like it didn't take me an hour and 42 minutes because I'd skip
Sure.
the dead spots.
Oh,
but
there
there were
were-
spots of like silence.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like that's basically someone took
Yeah,
the movie,
yeah,
ripped
just
the
took
audio.
that one
Yeah.
audio track from the DVD. Or
Worth
whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got the full experience.
All the silent
The
points and
score they
everything.
don't want you to hear
Yeah.
is what
Ooh.
I listened to.
But no, it's a really nice sort of orchestral score that kind of goes all over the place because it's covering various different themes throughout the movie and locations and stuff. So it doesn't play by itself super well unless you've seen the movie. But if you have, then I think it'll definitely take you back. And I would totally buy this again. Like if I had a house fire and this record, like my whole collection was up, this was one that I would seek out pretty quickly, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I actually just like the quality of the record too. Most of my older records are like somewhat flimsy and thin, you know. They're
Well, this
not.
says 2015 on it.
Oh, really? I have a newer one?
Yeah.
Oh, never
Awkward.
mind then. Sick.
Yeah, it says
Fake fan.
2015. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, re-released in 2015.
This
Oh,
ain't your
sick.
daddy's record.
Huh?
This ain't your daddy's record.
No. My dad doesn't have the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack.
I mean, Dad's not as cool as I thought he was.
He's pretty cool. He's got a lot of records, but he doesn't have this
Not
one.
Conan cool.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot more sense than honestly,
Yeah.
because it's thick. Yeah. All of my older records are a bit more flimsy, so I'm glad that I've got the repress, to be frank.
Yeah, you know what one that both of you and I have that will never get a repressing is the heavy metal soundtrack.
I know.
Music licensing is way too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. It's
I keep
kind
forgetting I own that one. It's
kinda
such a-
too bad.
Such a banger.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I honestly, I would pick, if we had to do this again, I would pick the Life Aquatic probably though.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, Bowie's fun, and then Portuguese Bowie is like, it's good.
Well,
And it's all like,
maybe we'll do non-English album.
oh
that gives you a
yeah, maybe
chance.
that'll be my
'Cause
choice.
We're never talking about soundtracks ever again.
Oh, totally. Well, what about video games?
That is not a video game soundtrack.
Oh yeah, I know.
So you won't have a chance in that
Alright,
sense
fine.
to pick it. But maybe non-English. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do one that's just Portuguese albums.
Hey,
Or instrumental.
maybe I'll just choose it as an album because I like it so much.
Yo, speaking of, next week's episode. That's my choice.
It's your pick. Yeah.
What
are
have you
picking?
chosen?
So I've been split between two albums for a while now, but we talked about cover songs earlier. So I've decided to pick an album that means a lot to me, which is Leanne LaHava's self-titled album.
Cool.
My girlfriend's not allowed to listen to this album that episode because I have the biggest crush on Leanne LaHava's.
Yeah, I got him.
So we'll talk about that album next week. But hey, thanks for hanging out, talking about movies, TV shows, and most importantly, records.
Records. We're the podcast of record, just like the New York Times is the newspaper.
We'll save that for the
record.
slogan next week.
Oh,
That's great.
fuck.
Wow, Jamie.
Fucking
Spoiler
suck.
alert, that's the slogan next week.
Hey.
Final verdict. The podcast of record. Actually, that's a really good slogan. We're stealing that.
Hey, good job,
We're
Jamie.
going to get sued, but we're using that.
No. They can off.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody.
We're kidding. Tell all your friends, please. We want you to listen.
Yeah, tell them about the podcast. Don't tell them about our slogan, though.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
Good day.